Today we had a very fun conversation with Jenni Vartiainen, researcher at the Helsinki University. She talks about the importance of playfulness and science in early childhood education and beyond. Also highlighting that we are in a play crisis. Please enjoy this very amazing episode with Jenni Vartiainen. Jenni, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And so nice to see you again. It's been quite a long time.
Yes, it has been like 5 years.
I think so. And I interviewed you in my previous podcast online, without video the last time. So I will refer to that also at some point for your background and also your startup period.
Yes.
And I would like you to maybe start by introducing yourself as a researcher in early childhood education, and maybe summarize a little bit what you talked about today at this early childhood event just here next to our studio. But before we go into your story, I would like you to sign these books that you just gave me. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That would be such a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you. So what are they about? The first book?
This is about young children's mathematical skills.
Yes.
And how you learn all essential mathematical skills in early years through play. So it's all about play-based learning.
Fantastic.
So essential for every single one who works or who have children. So
Fantastic.
very basic book for all adults with children, either in work or at home.
And until what age? From what age to what age?
From 0 to 8 years old.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. And then the other book?
And the other one, this is something I'm extremely proud of course, that too. But I have been researching early childhood science education now for 15 years. And I have published many articles, I have had so many presentations, but I have never before written everything in one book so that it helps adults to do play-based science education with young children. And there is my lovely colleague, Kide Sormunen, who has been co-authoring, in fact, both of these books with me. So it has been lovely cooperation with her.
Okay, fantastic. So I would like you to maybe start then. Thank you so much. My new precious books in my bookshelf. Thank you. So I would like you to start by summarizing a little bit your research career until co-founding this startup that you were a very, the key pedagogical piece of. From a research perspective, we talk a lot about research-based technology and tools for education, and a lot of technology is not research-based. And for children, it's maybe even more important, especially for smaller children. And then maybe highlighting some elements of your TV show here in Finland also, and then that journey, and then focus a little bit on what you're doing right now as a researcher, if it's full-time or what your projects are right now, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So, first of all, I work as a university lecturer at University of Helsinki at the moment. And I teach future kindergarten teachers there. That's great joy and honor for me to be able to help new enthusiastic teachers to get proper training, and I'm a tiny part of that. And in addition to that, about half of my work is about doing research. But if we rewind back to year 2013, when I started my research career on young children's science education. So before that, I did a lot of research with a bit older children's science education. And already then we were very worried about that teenagers, they are not interested in science and mathematics. they don't want to study those subjects so that they would become future scientists or go after that kind of careers. So already then there was a great need to pay attention on interest, relevance. So why this is important for every single citizen to understand basic science and mathematics principles. So I started, in fact, doing my PhD with different topic that I ended up ending it. So first, I studied how we could use molecular gastronomy so that we could improve interest towards science among teenagers. It was great fun, fantastic project, but then I realized something. I realized that teenagers, it's just too late if we try to affect their interest. And also research said very strongly that we have to start it earlier. It's not enough to start when children are 13 years old. It's not enough to start when they are 10 years old. But you should start when children are naturally extremely interested about the world around us. Why there is a rainbow, how a bird can fly but I can't, why leaves change their color in autumn. So children are full of questions that we explain through science. So that is the moment when you should start introducing science for young children. And then it just hit me very hard. And I realized right away that this is something I want to do. This is under-researched area. There is only a few people in the world who pay a lot of attention on young children's science education. There is tons of people who study teenagers' interest and relevance in science education. So I changed my topic. Then I went to my supervisor and said that I want to change the topic. And she said that you have been doing this like 2 years. Are you sure you want to change it? And I said that I'm absolutely sure. This is solid decision.
In the middle of your PhD thesis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that was the turning point that eventually led to the moment when we established a company called Kide Science, a startup company. So I changed my PhD topic and we set up young children's science clubs. And we collected data from those science clubs. We aimed to develop a way to introduce science for young children so that we take into account young children's natural tendency to learn by playing and how children kind of organize their ways of thinking according to story-based approaches. So we wanted to integrate stories, imaginary play, and science education. And no one has done that ever before, so we didn't know exactly how this works out. We had pieces of research all over, and we put those pieces together and created our own way. And then we started testing it in our science clubs. And it was about 4 years that we did iteration, data collection, and over 1,000 children attended our science clubs during those 4 years. And when my PhD was ready and there was no longer need to organize science clubs, then parents came to us and said that you can't stop this. This is the best hobby that my child has ever had, and they are so excited. You have to continue this somehow. And I had fantastic team of science club teachers and me. They had developed all the way the concept with me. And we decided then that we can't just throw this away and move forward. We have to do something. And then we ended up jumping into startup world, which was quite a ride.
Yes, you became a startup founder together with 2 colleagues.
Yes.
So how was that? We'll focus on research, but please tell us about that journey, because in 2013-14, I came from, let's say, an entrepreneurial macroeconomist perspective into the research world, and then little by little realized that, okay, there's a lot of theory in research that is never transformed into practice.
Yes.
And as an entrepreneur, that was very frustrating, working with research that didn't really take effect in the real world. So it was a struggle. So how did your journey start out and then continue trying to get this research into practice as a startup founder and in a company, basically?
So I finished my PhD, and basically we had already proven that this what we do is something that people want.
Yeah, and the customers came to you basically
Yes.
asking you to indirectly start a company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was like very big demand from the parents' side that this is something unique you have created. This is something that we are ready to pay for. And they encouraged us a lot. Then, of course, maybe we were a bit naive even in those days, didn't understand everything about what it requires to be a startup founder. Maybe it was a good thing because we didn't know all the twists and turns.
I think that is a requirement. Otherwise, you might not ever start the company in the first place.
Yes, but we started as many startups do, so bootstrapping everything with zero funding, just huge enthusiastic attitude behind everything. But we started right away to acquire VC funding, and we in fact managed to get funding quite quickly. Reactor Ventures was our first investor, and it was more than just money what we got from there. We got so much knowledge and training on what it needs to build a company, about company culture, about everything that we didn't know yet. So that was something that we realized quite quickly, that when you try to find a right investor, it's not just about getting money. Of course, it's important, but there are so many other aspects. So we were a bit picky with our investor choosing. So there were other ones also who wanted to invest in us, but we chose the one that we felt that was fit in other areas.
Yeah, maybe that was
well.
a key factor starting out also, that you had the opportunity to be picky because you had the customers, you had the enthusiasm, you had the knowledge, you knew what you were doing, you knew you were unique, the first ones for real, because you had done the homework.
Yes.
So you had, let's say, the negotiation power maybe in a sense.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, we had this 4-year research behind it, published. So there was clear evidence that there is also educational power. It's not just something that is fun and engaging for the children, but there is also huge impact on children's learning.
Yeah, and that's really a powerful thing also when you as the researcher becomes one of the entrepreneurs. So it's not just some research out there, but it's your own research.
Yes.
Even so, a very powerful start. But then looking at the problem that we have still so much technology and solutions that come out that are not science-based, and that they might have a lot of funding, or they come from a corporation and they're just overwhelming the attention of, let's say, the educators. So it's difficult to come through with these research-based solutions. And of course, it was not just that easy for you to just continue with your solution, starting out in Finland and then going international. Then the pandemic came in the way.
Yes.
So what were the fundamental, let's say, things from a research perspective that, let's say, kept you afloat when you have solutions coming and going? And then maybe when even investors realize that, okay, maybe this is not as solid as some maybe more research-based solution. Can you comment something about that?
Yes, sure. I think that, well, first of all, I think that every time when you try to sell something to schools, sell something in the field of education, there should always be research backing. And what was powerful in Kide Science was that what many companies do, they develop a product and afterwards they start to study impact. And usually the research is also very quantitative. They just give some random numbers. Okay, learning improved 20%. Okay, what does it mean? In real life, in details, what does it mean? What kind of interaction there was among children? So it's just pure throwing numbers here and there and saying that this is good, this is impactful. So many times research is very, in fact, thin in many educational innovations. And the second thing is that in the first place, when those have been developed, there are many products that doesn't include the research or understanding of educational theories when it has been developed. So that was also something that was powerful in Kide Science, was that it was research-based from the day one. It was research-based from the day minus like 100 because it started from the research and it found its place like originally. And it was very organic when it found where it fits. So it was like truly research-based.
And then maybe
product.
you also had this ingredient that you were having a really strong continuous training, like not only teacher training, but parents training.
Yes.
And maybe you can talk about that, like what was the pedagogical continuity that you could offer being in the team, and then having the TV show coming. Maybe that's also like you're educating about the science for early childhood. Also to parents through the TV.
Yes. At the same time, when we started to put up Kide Science and we tried to find investors and try to package what is our product, in fact, at the same time, somehow Finnish National Broadcasting Company heard about what we are doing. So they approached me and asked if there is anything we could do together. And it has been my dream, like many, many years, that I would love to see in the most popular Finnish children's TV show, Pikku Kakkonen. I would love to see some science there for children. And then the opportunity opened up that I could be doing that science show for children for the National Broadcasting Company of Finland. So, of course, I said yes. And my colleague, co-founder Aino, jumped in this project with me. And we were able to manuscript and even act in that TV show. So it was fantastic. 3 seasons with 10 episodes in each. And there have been millions of views for those episodes.
Fantastic. And does it continue?
Yes, it's still there.
Yeah.
So
fantastic,
those are
because my
still
son
available.
I was watching it with my son, but now he's already 11, so he's maybe above. I don't know if it would still fit in your target group, but we had more of a science-based interest. Let's say, when was it that it started? How many years ago?
2017 was released, the first one.
Yeah, so he was 3 years old then, so that was a good time. I remember we were following it very actively.
Absolutely. But what is the funny thing is that, well, my own children act in that TV show also.
They are your children?
Yeah, they are my children. And now they are in elementary school.
Yeah.
My daughter is 13 and son is 15. And in their chemistry and physics class, they use that TV show.
Fantastic.
So
amazing.
They have been watching themselves while they are learning physics.
Becoming scientists.
Or chemistry or anything. So it can be also used with upper elementary school as well.
Fantastic. So that had a good penetration in Finland, in the families in Finland, let's say both in schools and also in the homes.
Yes.
But then internationally, what was the interest, since you were, let's say, globally a unique initiative from your research with the science, playfulness, and can you repeat the elements, the fundamental pillars that you were connecting in your PhD thesis, and then that became the company, and then how did that, let's say, take effect internationally?
Yes, so play and play-based learning, it was back then, it still is very hot topic in learning. So we understand very well that young children need those opportunities to play and learn through playing. And now I'm not talking about any chocolate glaziered broccoli that you sometimes see that you call that this activity is play-based, but it haven't even seen play. So how to find that truly play-based approaches? It was something that we got huge demand from international partners. So they wanted us. We didn't need to go international, but we were tracked kind of to become international. And in the first place, Asia was calling hardest. So there, the idea of bringing play into science education was very strong.
Okay.
And we started many good cooperations in China, in Thailand, in Malaysia. In fact, in Malaysia was the first physical Kide Science center outside Finland, or in fact in the whole world, because we never had physical Kide Science center even in Finland. But demand was huge, and we even gained quite good success there. But then COVID hit.
Yes.
Closed the schools, and we needed to reevaluate our products. We needed to pivot big time, but we somehow were like little cockroaches. We were able to survive, in fact, quite well from these COVID times when schools were closed. Of course, if schools are closed, teachers are not using our product. So we needed to pivot it so that it could be used online for online teaching purposes, used online at homes to homeschool children. And that was our way to survive from the COVID, changing from very heavily teacher training based products. So we really we flew to China, we flew to Thailand, we flew to Malaysia and trained teachers there. But then that wasn't possible anymore. So we needed to switch everything that it works online. But
with the things that you could find in your kitchen was one of the things that made it a success in the homes.
Yes. But we succeeded very well with that. But
yeah, so the other element, so from Asia, I think they are like, let's very science heavy country, but the playfulness was like a new thing for them to add. And was there another element, so playfulness and the science-based and then early childhood education, was that the third element, that the playfulness was for early childhood education with science?
Yes, absolutely, it was. And
then online, the version online, did it have all these elements?
Absolutely, yes. Yep. Every single one element was present in online versions too. And in Asia also something that attracted teachers and schools was the idea of kind of Finnish philosophy of learning, how you see child as a capable whole person. And it was something that at least they said that they would love to bring more also in their learning culture. So where everything is not that teacher-centered, but kind of the agency moves towards children, and they can also kind of decide which way they want to take, for example, science activities. And it improves many skills when you also let children to decide and let them have also power of knowing.
And these elements that are really like pedagogical principles that should be understood before you use any product or any solution, if it's for science learning or anything else. How easily has that been understood internationally? And what is required, do you see still, pedagogically speaking, for people to understand these fundamental elements before they look at any kind of learning in a subject-based manner?
Of course, it was quite demanding and something that needed a lot of thinking and design from our perspective, because it was needed that teachers understood the basic principles of playfulness, what play is or how we define it, and you are able to use our product. How you kind of switch focus from teacher to children. What is early childhood science education? That was also something that we needed to prepare teachers first. So our solutions were that, first of all, we offered, of course, teacher training, face-to-face teacher training. That's not very scalable, so we needed to a bit power up that. So we created a teacher training in our platform, and that teacher training followed exactly the same principles that we use when we teach children. So learning by doing, not just reading or watching lectures or listening to podcasts, but so that we give a tiny piece of knowledge and then we give activity that they do with children. So they put it in a practice right away. Then they come back to platform, they have another little piece of knowledge, and then right away to action. So this kind of knowledge, action, reflection cycle there. And it ended up being quite a powerful way for also teachers to understand what this is all about. And important was also that already during their training, they saw the impact on children. Because what we knew all the time with Kide Science was that if teachers do the first lesson with children and they see that huge joy and how children get aha moments and how they just jump into that play world and story and how it motivates children engage with learning, we knew that teachers are kind of hooked. They see so big change compared to traditional activities. But yeah, we build teacher training in our platform, but also we build our lesson plans so that when you follow the lesson plan, you learn by doing also the lesson plans. So we created videos that help them, teachers, to see easily what kind of interaction we are expecting you to do with children, and explaining you do this because this supports child's agency. You do this because this supports children's learning of science process skills, for example.
Yeah. And then you really can see the, let's say, pedagogical impact that you're looking for.
Yes.
Like in a very visual way. How did you evaluate that also? Like, did you have an evaluation metric that was evaluating, let's say, pedagogically this impact? If we talk about the impact that we look for still from these solutions.
Yes, we did both academic research on our product, so very in-depth video-based studies with the groups that took Kide Science and used it. So we followed those groups. Then we had a bit lighter versions of impact studies, so surveys for teachers and their observations on the effects on children. We did plan to do some bigger studies on children, but for ethical purposes, etc., it took a bit time to set up something that we would be able directly to study children. And then we were acquired to US, company sold. We never had time to do this proper impact study on children, but I hope that that will be done in future by someone else.
Very interesting. So, but your role as a researcher, how was that different within Kide Science versus, let's say, at the university? What kind of research did you do in the company? Was it really a similar kind of research or something different that had to be done? But really, I think that's also unique that most startups don't have like a researcher doing actual research continuously. So how was that research?
It was very similar as in my university studies, because I wanted to be very strict on ethical perspectives. So I know that companies somehow or sometimes they can do a bit more flexible way this kind of feedback collection.
Yeah, they just need a lot of numbers, so some metrics, user engagement and so on.
Yeah, so of course we used those as well, but it wasn't my duty in a sense. So my duty was to do that in-depth academic research also about the product usage. So we wanted to keep two levels. So we get information about the behavior of the customers, what they do at our platform, what kind of feedback they give. We had our customer success team who interviewed customers and got the feedback. They tried to understand the patterns, how they use the product so that they could make it better. And then we had this another branch, kind of taking very strong theoretical starting point, trying to affect theory. So not just doing research to improve the product, of course, for that purpose as well, but also to impact educational theories. So we knew that our product was unique and it has huge opportunity also to affect how we see education, what we think that learning is. What we think that young child is as a learner. So that was my ambition, kind of to capture the usage of the product by using video data, by using interviews, by using observations, so that we could make also impact on the theoretical perspective.
Yeah. And that's probably what you're continuing with now, more, let's say, on a full-time or half-time basis while you're lecturing. Yes. So before you mentioned a little bit about your latest research and what you're doing now, maybe some follow-ups of your previous research. How would you summarize, let's say, your research path with the narrative of the Kide Science story also reaching this exit in the US? So if you summarize that, some highlights, and then how it continued or transformed. And then your research, how it kind of also transformed to now a more full-time position again.
Yes, so it started from understanding how young children learn science, building a research-based framework for that. And little by little, it took a bit more philosophical form. So asking what learning really is and what kind of theories we need to understand this learning that happens socially, culturally, historically. So I got very, very interested in that. Then I have very strongly focused on also understanding the play in more depth. So I have at least tried to have an impact on play theories, and especially play theories when we put play to help learning. I think it's a sweet contradiction when we talk about play-based learning, because if you look at play and kind of definition of play, it should always be something that is intrinsically motivated. So you shouldn't put any other aims or goals for play.
Yeah.
And in learning, you of course have goals.
Yeah,
you
so the
have
structure
aims.
there, how do you play with that to put the structure on play-based learning
Yes.
without it being instruction?
Yeah. So basically, play-based learning is contradiction. There shouldn't exist that kind of thing because their definitions are so far away. If you use play for institutional purposes and try to put that outer motivation so that children fulfill your curriculum requirements, it takes away the very essential element of play. So being free of this.
And there's a
this
term
is
also,
now,
maybe you can add this terminology also. So free play is something that is used a lot now when we talk about, like from a psychological perspective, that we should let children have more free play time, let's say outside preferably, and maybe less maybe digital time, but let's say unsupervised digital time. And especially when we talk about, well, still young children, but pre-teenagers, teenagers, maybe we don't have that problem yet with small children. I think we might have with the iPad generations. But how do we need to add this free play, free word as a terminology for people to understand that this should be free play without adult supervision?
Yes, that is also needed. And where my research is going now, I'm even more interested in that free play part. And I have concluded in my latest article that play-based learning is possible when adult is aware of where the learning is, but child is in the sphere where child is just playing. But
freely.
Yes, but adult joins children's play, for example, as a customer. You play grocery store shop with children and you are a customer and child sells you an apple and says that this is €2 and you give child €3 and you see that, does child see that there was wrong amount of coins that you get? And that is quite nice opportunity to engage in mathematics skills with young children. So seeing if children can recognize amounts just by glance. Subitization is
so the learning is happening. And you don't have to define it for the child.
Yes, but child is all the time thinking, I'm playing. This is inherent for my play, that we buy things, we give money, we give right amount of money. But as an adult, I understand that at the moment we are learning about enumeration, for example.
So how much do you think this should be really taught for teachers in general, like from primary education and up, that the teacher's role also in classrooms should be to allow for more play-based environment? And to what grade is there like a limit? Should there be instruction at some point? Or should it be more play-based, let's say in a free play version throughout the education system until you become like a scientist doing research because you're curious? So I was thinking about this quote also before from Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that the children that never grow up or never stop playing, I don't remember exactly, become scientists because they are still curious and they do research as experiments and they play around with that. But it's still, let's say, academically accepted. But if you go and play around doing other things, it might not be, let's say, accepted by society. Maybe, but maybe it should.
Play is in crisis at the moment. It really is in crisis. And one of my favorite play researchers, Peter Gray, he has published amazing articles, amazing TED Talks, where he tries to wake people up that children are playing too little nowadays. Children play only 1/8 of the amount they used to play in 50s. So in 50s, children played 8 times more than what they play today. And now with play, I mean unstructured, uninstructed, free play among children. And this decline of play has started already in 80s, so we can't blame digital devices of everything, but it's still going down. Children quit playing earlier than before, and the amount they use in their days with free play is it's less than ever in humankind history. At the same time, we see that children's mental well-being issues are growing. We see that children have increasing anxiety, increasing depression symptoms. Children are not doing well. And of course, researchers are thinking that, is there real correlation between these two? So there might be things happening at the same time without any correlations. In summer times, we sell more ice cream and more people die by drowning, but they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. But researchers explain that notion that children's mental well-being is going down while their play time is going down. It's explained by psychological basic needs. So those are needs that every single person has to fulfill to be okay.
Since we're like a social creature, we need social, let's say, playtime.
Yes. And every one of us, we need feeling of autonomy so that we are driving our own lives. We need connection with other people so that we feel connected with other. And we need the feeling of competence, that we are good enough to survive what we are going through. And for young children, all those psychological basic needs are fulfilled when they are playing. In play, children have full autonomy to decide what's happening next, who I am, how this play goes forward. They have this huge relatedness with other players. That connection that happens within play is very powerful. And they have full competence. In play, child is always head taller themselves. So all important psychological basic needs are fulfilled when children are playing. So I think it's not too far-fetched if we say that when children's time on free play reduces, their psychological basic needs are not fulfilled as well. So it's easy to conclude that, yes, their mental well-being is going down.
And should this be enforced in the school system also, like officially, that there should be more playtime in school time?
If you ask from me, absolutely. Children should play through 1st to 6th grade, even after that. So I think that there is not end point when we should kind of abandon play. Of course, it changed form.
Yeah.
And even adults play, but usually our play is more like playing games.
Yeah.
We play tennis for fun, we play card for fun, or board games for fun.
Yeah.
But even adults could bring a bit more other play types also in their lives to improve
maybe be
quality.
better role models or guide the process. But what would you then recommend if you could create this ideal environment? What would be the teacher's role in a school environment? And then you can talk about the parent's role in the home environment. Until what age should the parent be involved, maybe guiding the free play situation? And then at what age should the parent just trust the child to be unsupervised to do the free play? I mean, in Finland, we have a lot of safe environments, but let's say if we talk about the school environment where we know the children are safe, so that's not the reason for having a teacher there. but at what age should children just be allowed to play without any adults involved?
That's a hard question to say some specific age. I would look at children's play skills. So play skills are something that also has reduced in later years. So children don't anymore know how to play. We have this a bit biased thought that child can play. It's something pre-installed in children that they can play, but it's not. We think that children can play because they have learned from older children how to play. Meaning how I am something else, how I speak as someone else, how I use, for example, a stick as a magic wand or a horse. So these play skills are something that children learn from other children. Nowadays, family sizes are smaller. Children play less in groups where you have very young children and older children. So they tend nowadays to play pretty same-aged children together. So it means that children don't learn play skills anymore that effectively. So it's adults' important role to teach play skills for children. How to pretend to be something or someone else.
And how can we create these environments if we don't have the play skills anymore as parents? If we, let's say in my case, I grew up in the 80s, I think I have good play skills still. But parents that are maybe 10 years younger, I don't know, they seem to be bad digital role models in my perspective. So they might not be playing as much with their children. I don't know. So what would be the advice for parents? Like how do you, even if you don't have the skills, how can you, let's say, find the environment, maybe with neighbors or similar, to create these environments where you can play with other children?
Yes, of course, one thing is to bring children together so that there are different aged children, but also creating time for play. It's also something that is a reason why children don't play anymore so much, is that their free time is so structured. So after school day, they start another instructed day by playing basketball or playing some instrument or having this excessive amount of hobbies. So first thing is to create time for play. Create that empty time when your brain relax and you even get bored, because that is the moment when your brain starts to figure out what to do. And for adults who can't play, I would say that we need something like wider, how to instruct people to find play again. So many of us have still experiences. How does it feel like to play some kind of imaginary play? I think it's just reminding ourselves and throwing away that terrible biased idea that playing is not serious, because that is something what we think. Play is just fooling around. If you play as an adult, you are maybe not that seriously taken person.
But any recommendations? Because I've been following you many years, maybe since 2017 on Facebook, and I see what you post, let your family play time, has been very inspiring. So can people follow you on Facebook? Is it too personal, or what can people follow to get inspired to play?
I can be followed on Instagram, and I post there different kind of ideas of play, early science education, early math education, early childhood education in general. And it's found in Instagram, Jenni Vartiainen, PhD. So
fantastic.
Very easy. And yes, I put my family to play. Even my teenagers are forced still to play with me.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I have a pre-teenager, and he prefers to play with his friends. He's very active. But the parents' role, that's why I was also asking this, like until what, let's say, age, like can you see that, okay, now the child is really independent enough, he really needs to be preparing for independence, or does the parent still have a role until later years for the play? Yes, so it doesn't become too, let's say, the parent is too structured maybe.
Yes, I think that we should give children space to play without adult guidance. That is part of the play, that if children have developed play skills and the environment is safe, then children benefit hugely about the opportunity to play just group of children together. And so that they can practice even solving little
challenges,
yes,
problems.
yes, together.
Yeah.
Not so that as an adult I see that there is something going on now. So if there is not physical violence or anything like really bad happening, then you should let children to solve little problems together, because that is the life skill they will be needing. And it's very beneficial for children to play just a group of children together. But at the same time, children usually, or according to research, children enjoy when adults sometimes join their play. And it gives, as an adult, a huge stress relief if you play for a little moment with children, completely engaged in that. I have noticed that in myself. For example, something I want to share this because it came to my mind when you said something earlier. I had very tough year when my children were something like maybe 4 and 6 years old. I came home and I was so tired. I was just lying on the sofa and feeling like I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Wow. It's everything feels so heavy at the moment. And one day I was lying at the sofa and looking at my children, and I was thinking that I wish I was a child and I could just go and play and forget for a moment everything. And then I stopped for a moment at why I don't do that. Why I'm lying here and just kind of getting deeper and deeper this my own I'm so exhausted thingy. And then I realized that December was about to start, and I enjoyed before doing every December my children some kind of Christmas calendar with tips or dinosaurs doing adventures during the night that children can find, and it was great joy for me and of course for children. But then I decided that I need more play in my life, because that is something I'm now craving for. I want to play more and forget everything. So I invented a play Christmas calendar for our family. And every single of us, there is 4 persons in my family, we wrote on a little notes 6 our favorite plays. And we helped children, of course, to write their plays. And there was like hide and seek. There was a jumping contest, crawling contest, everything, playing with Barbies, doing Legos. And every morning we took one little note from the bowl that we put those in, and we agreed that we play this play even for 15 minutes every single day. And during that December, I got over of my exhaustedness. This 15 minutes per day
Amazing.
Recharged me so well that I felt better than any moment during that year. Like after 2 weeks of doing our play Christmas calendar.
Better than exercise, maybe.
Better than exercise.
And maybe better than therapy, even.
Yes, cheaper at least.
Maybe cheaper, yeah. That's what I usually say. Exercise is cheaper than therapy.
Yes.
Maybe play is even better than anything else.
Yes, it was great connection with the family. Absolute stress relief.
Yeah, it gives you meaning, like a purpose also, that you're with your family, your children.
Yes.
It brings life to a different perspective.
Yes, and so much joy and laughter.
That's so amazing. I know you have to go, so I want to be respectful of your time.
Thank you.
A final question. You spoke today at an early childhood event here
Yes.
we're in Espoo, so just next to Helsinki. And I wanted to ask you had a lot of questions coming to you after the event.
Yes.
So what were the main questions or the main interests that people have now around your topics, and you can highlight the topics that you spoke about again.
Yes, in early childhood education, it's still in Finland a bit black box. So people are a bit afraid of doing it. They are a bit afraid that if child asks me why rainbow forms and I'm not able to explain it scientifically right, so I don't want to do that with children, so that I don't put myself in a hard position.
So there's a fear about science in early childhood education.
Yes, there is.
Because they don't feel competent to teach about it.
Yes, yes. And my main message for teachers is that you don't have to be walking Wikipedia, but what is important in early childhood science education is that you support children's interest. If you see that they are interested in throwing rocks in a puddle and throwing leaves in a puddle, and they see that rocks sink and leaves float, just go there and start feeding that children's natural inquiry that they are doing there. You don't have to explain it through, but concentrate on science process skills. What do you observe? Why probably we made this observation? Find causal effect relations. You don't need any background knowledge on science with that, so that you do observations with children, find similar phenomena in everyday life, and kind of be brave and take some resource for yourself. It can be a book from library, or it can be a Kide Science teacher platform where you get ideas and then you do it your way. There is no one right way to do it, but find your way of doing that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jenni. I really look forward to following you and your publishings. If you're writing more articles or books, I will follow you. And where can people also follow you on a more research level beyond the Instagram account? Can we follow your research somewhere?
Yes, at the moment my publications are all open access in University of Helsinki's research portal. So that is something, if you want to read all my articles, you go there. And my latest research project, or it's the big project, I'm just one person in that, Math Buzz. Is something that you really should follow. It's in Finnish, Swedish and English, the languages that we use. In Finnish, it's called Matikka Surina. In Swedish, Matte Sur, and in English, Math Buzz. And at the moment, we have Instagram where you can follow also that.
And let's make sure we get it to Spanish as well.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, we can talk about that also anytime soon.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jenni. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.